And I was like, oh, here it comes.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Take a Seat Tidbits podcast. I'm here with my co-host Roughneck, and we are joined today by founders Terracode and Unicorn, so it's pretty exciting. I'll let Terracode start off and introduce himself.
For those that don't know, I'm a TSB motherfucking Terracode, internet royalty, charming personality, hazel eyes, pretty dick. Everything you've ever heard about me is true. So, you got any questions? Just ask.
Thank you very much.
It may by far be the best intro we ever get.
Yeah, I think so. I like it. 2 thumbs up. Okay, Unicorn, do you want to take a minute and tell people who don't know that live under a rock who you are?
Look, Terracote's had years to practice and perfect that. All I can say is that I'm a unicorn, and unicorns are dominant species known to challenge T-Rexes and win. So.
I didn't know that fact, that tidbit of information. But I am a fan. I do like unicorns. They're pretty cool.
I know, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Don't let him lie.
So let me just start off and announce some of the events that we have going on coming up. So for the week, this week, the 11th and 12th have yet to be decided. The 13th is going to be a general knowledge trivia, so that should be pretty exciting. We got a lot of exciting things come up. Be sure to check out the Hydra Global events. Come out and hang out for some of these events, and like maybe you'll meet new people or make new friends, or maybe you'll hate everybody. Who knows? But you'll never know until you come. So
and that's one thing, with the events, guys. Make sure that you guys put an effort in to come to these things. There's a lot of people that put a lot of work into these things to make sure that they get them out there for y'all. So show up, attend it. Who knows? You may like it. You may make new friends. It's a great way to kind of fill out the community and find different things that we have to offer here. Like we say on every podcast, TSB has a number of things that you guys can do, and it just kind of extends to getting out there and doing it. So.
Yes, and all web ops departments except the podcast are accepting applications. We do 100%. Need video editors for the podcast, so if you're interested in that, you're an editor, you can throw out your creds at the end of the video. Just let somebody know, and we'll get you in.
And if you want to come and chill with me and Trixie on a podcast, hit us up. We'll get you squared away.
Yep. I think we're pretty cool people. But we do have some questions that we wanted to ask. I have one question that I wanted to ask from Balto Storm. Had a question that he wanted me to ask y'all, and it was for whoever wants to answer first. What was your favorite gaming moment?
Together or just in general?
In general.
Just in general.
I don't know. Decade and a half gaming. I can tell you this, that there were a lot of people on Halo 3 and Black Ops, the original Black Ops, that didn't like us because we'd have RuneScape loaded up on our laptops. We'd be playing RuneScape while talking and not playing in Halo 3. We'd just sit still in the lobby.
And the updates, man.
And yeah, we would just sit there and talk about, we'd be doing quests on RuneScape, and people were like, "This is Halo, get do something." And we're like, "Hold up, homie. We're fighting the Cow Fight Queen. Like, get out of here." And then when Black Ops came out, they had the dual wield little shotguns that you could dual wield, and we would dual wield those and put red skins on them, and we would run around just using RuneScape lingo and telling people we were dual wielding the Poison Dragon daggers and stuff. We would act like we were playing a complete different game than what we were actually playing. I mean, when we first started TSB, Unicorn there was he was a little high school brat, and I was drinking a lot back then, and
Yeah, when's that changed?
yeah. Well, I don't drink as no. I'm not. Listen, I'm not drinking 230 packs a day anymore, and doing the things I used to do. I drink sporadically now. Which, going back to my intro, you guys don't know, but a lot of the older school people will know that when I was drinking heavy and making the reputation that I have, I had a personal herald that would go into parties before I went into them and would have my entrance.
I forgot about
That
that
is
one.
awesome.
Oh
Okay.
my god!
That is I need that.
I couldn't imagine being in a party, just hanging out with friends, and then some random guy comes in and just starts introducing someone that's not even here yet. You're just like, what the hell is this? And then boom, here pops Terracode. It's like, dun, 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 dun,
I hope they had a horn
you
and
don't
stuff to play
understand.
first, like.
They knew he was coming, and I was usually in the party before him because I jumped in and he was being his royal ass. And 9 times out of 10, his herald did a half-assed job, and it was fucking hilarious because he thought he was getting some epic fucking intro, and then he pops in and does his fucking introduction. Although it didn't used to be as smooth as it is now.
Well,
yeah, it's like he said he's had a decade to perfect that,
yeah, and I'm glad y'all brought up the beginning of gaming because I don't know if this has been like overplayed, but I wanted to hear like, how was it when you started? Like, how many people in recruiting do you be like, hey, there's 2 of us over here, you want to come play? I mean, how does that
It
go?
was 7 of us, really.
Yeah, there was 7. Jordan Ledoux, and he's still around, but yeah, that was his real name. That was also his gamer tag, and people would like talk shit to me, like, "Homie, that's my name. I live in Denver. Like, if you have an issue, it's a pretty unique name. I'm not hard to find." And then he and Unicorn both joined the military, and went off. That's why a lot of people they're confused because Unicorn disappears for a year at a time, radically, and they don't realize that he's overseas and done a couple of tours in the Middle East and everything. And but yeah, when we started, literally, I try to tell the story, but TSB got its name. We were playing on Halo 3 on the pit, and the shotgun spawned in the corner, and I had a lot to drink and had stumbled into that corner and couldn't get out. And so my son came in there, and he grabbed the shotgun, and Bad Company and Joey, they were my protectors, and kids kept running in the corner, and my son had the shotgun and just kept waylaying kids, and there were like bodies everywhere, and they just kept coming in there, and he's like, "Oh, you want some? Well, you can take a seat too, bitch." And it just kept on, so it progressed from that to every time we killed somebody on Halo, we were teabagging them and saying, "Take a seat, bitch." And then like next thing we were like, we should start a clan, and so we did, and here we are.
Man, and that's crazy. Go ahead.
When this clan started, I didn't get the option to join. I was told that I was joining. I remember distinctly, we were playing on, I don't remember what it is for Halo 3, but it was Zanzibar and Halo 2. When I was told that I was joining.
We're playing. Yeah.
You didn't decide to make that till like probably the next day or so. And then we were playing on Zanzibar, and I just remember Terracode always had to have his laser, and if anyone took that, it was the end of the world. So it was my job to protect him while he, fired his lasers. And then he goes, "You're joining TSB." And I'm like, "What the fuck is TSB?" He goes, "It's take a seat, bitch." I was like, "Okay, I guess this is this now." And I think that's when at that point is when everyone kind of realized that this was officially a thing. And that's when it all started to pick up. And we're like, we got to get more people. We got to make friends,
Well,
Man, that's crazy.
when Unicorn, his indoctrination into the pack that we had back then was he got the 1v1 to me. I had been day drinking and he had just got out of school, and he challenged me, and I said, okay, well, we'll go to, Guardian, and we'll 1v1, and then he lost.
Okay, to be fair,
Oh.
he said let's 1v1, and I go, okay, let's fucking do this. We get in a party together. Okay, I'm gonna go smoke a pack of cigarettes. I'll be back. You play my son. I was like, okay, I guess this is going down. And I got my ass whooped.
Oh shit.
And next thing you know, I'm playing with them every day.
That's so crazy to think. That something that it is now. TSB. How big it is, how many people we have now, and the things that we do. It all started on a game with you and him just kind of screwing around, and the name just kind of popped up out of nowhere.
Well,
I
and
mean,
then it all
that's
started
crazy.
with shit talking. And that's how most of the original members or the first members came. We'd get into Halo, and it was always Social Slayer. We went into Social Slayer. You didn't go into a party. You had to be able to talk to everybody, and you would talk shit the entire time. And if you found someone that would talk shit back, you'd invite them and be like, all right, you're our friend now. You're part of TSB. Congratulations. People didn't get options back in the day.
You
They
don't
were
have a
told they were
choice.
joining.
Like, hey, look, you're really good at talking shit, so just go ahead and slap on that TSB tag because you're here now. You can't go
Oh,
nowhere
we
else.
didn't even have TSB tags back then. That's the crazy part.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. So, like, when y'all started all this up, and the moment you guys realized, like, because I know at one point it was probably just like, hey, we're just, it's TSB, it's not really a big deal. But when you knew it was getting legit, and you
Oh
knew
no,
that
it
you
was a
guys,
big deal. Right from the
so
get-go, it was a
it
big
started
deal.
off. So what did y'all use to communicate? Like,
Oh,
what was y'all's
it was straight Xbox.
just straight? Wow,
Oh. How did
man, I bet
you?
that was.
I mean, I don't even know how you communicated on Xbox back then because I didn't get into
Oh,
online
we,
gaming
you
until.
know, messaging,
Yeah.
parties,
Oh my
and
God.
mainly it was Social Slayer and Halo. You send an Xbox message or just straight up spam people with invites until they join the lobby, and then you'd fill up as many slots as you could, and if you ran out of slots, we were playing custom games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's because I can remember I grew up in that era of Halo and all that, getting on and playing, and even before communities and clans got real big, I was always into gaming, and I can remember like even when I had my little thing that I did, that was how I did it. I had to do everything off of Xbox. It was getting online and okay, well, homeboy's online. Let me invite him to a party. We'll play some Call of Duty or something. But that man, it's crazy to think that that's how it all started. And there's a lot of people that don't know that. I know I personally get asked that question a lot. Like, where did the name TSB come from? How did it start? Who started it? And of course, I know who. I can name drop the people, but I'm like, as far as the name and stuff, man, I don't know. That's something that you guys would have to ask the founders because they're the ones who thought of it. So that's really cool that we were able to get that on here, and now people will know if they listen, kind of where TSB came from. So
We can
Well,
refer them back.
the crazy thing that a lot of people now forget is that the reason why it was so legit in the beginning was the people the people in our group were so good at Halo. I mean, we had people that were legit good. If you go to YouTube right now and search best clans Halo Xbox, and you'll see everybody used to make top tens. TSB's on every one of those, literally.
I didn't know
And
that.
I kind of you know I disagree with a lot of those things because they have us in 2 or 3, and we beat all the clans that they put above us. And I'm like, I don't see how you don't put us on 1 on every one of them. But when you have people that were paying, like there was a clan, I'm not going to call the kid's name, but he was paying pros hundreds of dollars to try to 1v1 our people to put YouTube videos out to try to make us look bad.
Wow.
I mean, there was a clan called HKK, Halo Kit Kats, and this kid lived in Hawaii. His dad obviously had a lot of money, and he surrounded him with pro players because his son wanted to be a pro Halo player. And they invite me to a party one night, and I joined whatever party invites I get. And I go in there, and there's Boss Nasty, who was a big time YouTuber at the time. I'm sitting there with a Nated, and all of these people that are Wolfman Chuck, who was Nated obviously retired as a professional Halo player. Like I joined this party with everyone who was known for skill in Halo, and they're like, we want a clan battle. And I said, well, when? And he said, well, when can you get a team together? And I said, give me 5 minutes. And so we sent our little team over there, and we played 3 professional Halo players, and this guy's son, Luxide Zeku, was on their team, and we beat them so bad. Luxide Zeku deleted his stream video, the recordings that were on his stream, because he was streaming it. Like, we kicked the shit out of those kids.
Well, and that's the crazy part about all of that is we didn't have a professional team. It was literally just our friends that we knew were good. And it's like we had this set group that we knew were the top of our group, and then we had like me and another set that were like second strings. So at any given point, if someone's like, hey, let's clan battle, we could have some combination of people in there that we knew would, win every time. And we never paid them. They did it just for, pride.
Just fun of the game. Yeah. For the guys that you roll with. That's what, to me, that's what gaming was all about back then. Because I remember, the pro gaming started getting up there, and it started becoming more of a real thing. The esports, it started kicking off. But I mean, to me, it was always about, you had your buddies and stuff that would roll into any game with you. And I mean, they'd give it everything they had. Black Ops was one of the biggest games for me, Call of Duty Black Ops. That was when I had my group of guys that I rolled with. We had, somewhere around 200, 250 people. And, we would clan battle and stuff, and we didn't get paid for it. We didn't go to tournaments and stuff, but our goal was to be the best little clan on Call of Duty Black Ops. I mean, it's crazy that gaming's got so far away from that now with everything that's going on. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. The whole esports teams and people making money off gaming and stuff now, but it is crazy to kind of take a look back at the way things are now. The way they used to be compared to now.
Yeah, I mean, clan battles were it. That's what you live for. I mean, you wanted clan battles early and often. If you want, hey, we'll do 10 tonight. We don't care, because my son and those guys, all they did was play MLG. Like they would boost, they'd create, 48-hour codes were a big thing back then. Everybody was getting a 48-hour code. The Xbox One people don't realize that what a silver tag is. Back then you couldn't join a party, you couldn't go into matchmaking on a silver tag. It had to be gold, and you could get these 48-hour cards, a 14-day trial, free trial for Xbox Live. You give those accounts, just give the code to my son and all of his friends, and they would make an account and go get a 50 in Halo 3 in, a day. And, 50 was the highest rank you could get. Anybody that had a 50 on Halo 2 obviously was a hacker, because you couldn't achieve that. It was just an impossible feat. Yeah. But Halo 3, you could get 50s, and they would just, Nismo and Andy and all those guys, Big Rick, like we had so many people that just would have a 50 in a day. Like they would just go in lobbies and just run through people.
That is crazy.
Don't chase.
Don't chase. You're getting into it to chase. But, I literally see kids that are playing COD right now that were in clans, and they're making a living playing COD. I mean, I know those kids, and I'm like, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. That's the craziest thing, I've got one buddy who streams, and he doesn't make a whole lot of money off of it, but me and him, we started playing Call of Duty Black Ops, or actually Modern Warfare 2 together, and I mean, he just ended up taking off with it. Now he's over here making money off of streaming and playing Call of Duty, and I'm over here like, I work a full-time job and, hate my life, so it is what it is, whatever. You could stay home all day and stream and have fun, so whatever, man, But yeah, no, it is. It's crazy the evolution of gaming that it's had, coming from the Halo days, which, really, if you ask anybody who's heavy into gaming, Halo was kind of the game that kind of set off everything else. That was the game you played then that kind of brought forth everything that we have here now. So it's crazy that all this kind of started then. So now, one thing I do want to ask, and this is more pointed at Terracode, and for those of you who don't know TSB Terracode, he is actually a closet Oklahoma Sooner fan.
I heard that.
He's from Texas, and he acts like the Longhorns are good, but when he's at home by himself, he has that Boomer Sooner hat on, and that's who he watches. So now that we got that out of the way,
Okay.
Terracode, you're a big presence, not only in the community, but you're also a big media presence as well, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions about you out there, kind of on the Twitter world, but one of the things that like we've kind of highlighted in our podcast, talking about you guys, and this is nothing to JT. I mean, I've been in parties with JT too, but I think there's a lot of things that people don't realize, like how much you care about the community, the people in the community, how much you're willing to kind of go out of your way when people jump into your parties to get to know them and talk to them, and just overall, kind of be a genuine person to your people. What kind of drives you to be that type of guy?
I don't know. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about the open party thing. I mean, that's a thing that we've always had in TSB, is that if you're a leader in this community, you set an open party. Because if you watch communities, you'll see cliques start to form. And I always wanted everyone to come here and be treated equal. I don't care your gender, your race, religion. I don't care about any of that shit. I don't care. If you're a good person, we want you to be here and we want you to be happy. I mean, we truly do care. And I don't know. I mean, I just try to put myself out there. I try to, set an open party where people can come around, and if there's nothing more disappointing to me than to see someone take TSB out of their gamer tag, because
Right.
I feel like I let them down on some, and it's even more disappointing when they say, well, there's all these problems. I'm like, well, why didn't you come talk to me?
Yeah.
I mean, I set an open party every day. Hell, you guys know I'll post my address in the damn global chat. I'll post my cell phone number. I don't care. Like, there's no reason for somebody to leave here and say I didn't know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. That's something I tell people all the time too. I'm like, if y'all go sit in a party with Terracode or even Unicorn, I mean, you go sit in a party and they don't ignore you. I mean, hell, every time I pop into your party, it's how's work been? How you doing? What you been up to? It's not like it is with other places, with other communities and stuff. And it's kind of like me and Trixie. We touched on this topic back in like the first episode of this podcast. I've been kind of around the community world. I haven't been in a whole lot, but I've been in some of the bigger ones. And I can honestly say this has been the first community that I have personally been a part of where, you can go and be in the founders party and feel welcome. Not feel kind of out of place, not feel like you shouldn't be there. Not. I was never scared once, and still ain't. I'm still not scared to go jump in your party and hang out. It may not be for a long time, but just go in there, hang out, say what's up. And I think that's what really separates TSB from the mass majority of a lot of these communities, is the fact that you and Unicorn both are you're relatable people. You don't act bigger than what you are. You don't let the whole fact that you're the founder of a community kind of get into your ego to where you don't want to be around people. And hell, I've told people, fuck, I've been in a party with Terracode. We've both been drunk, and like my first 2 weeks in, I get into a party with Trent or with Terracode, and we're sitting there gaming and stuff, and he's like, Roughneck, what's your phone number? And I'm like, oh shit, here's my phone number. I give him my phone number. Then this man is like, where you live? I tell him where I live. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna send you my address. He's like, you want my email address too? I was like, God dang, like, what the hell are we doing here? You want the last 4 digits of my social too? Like, daggum. But I mean, that was something that really solidified me. When I came into the community, and it was like, man, that's the coolest damn thing I've ever seen, to be able to jump in a party with the founder and just have a good time like that.
People talk about my ego and my arrogance, and that, okay, those things exist, but they exist to people that are on the outside of the walls that we've built around TSB, Hydra, and Excess. You know, all the people that are in our circle now. Those walls exist to keep people that we don't want coming inside and fucking up what we have, because people have not ever realized that. You know, people, oh, TSB's full of hackers or this, that, or the other. They're a little bitty clan. They've never realized how big TSB was, because they stayed the hell away because of the persona that we put on. You know, I mean, and that's the one thing I've told everyone when you join TSB. I don't expect you to sit around and let anyone disrespect you. I will say that if it comes to someone in our circles, choose your words wisely. Think about what you're going to say. But if somebody that's in a clan that is not in our circle comes up and wants to be disrespectful to you, tell them to go fuck themselves. I don't care. You don't have to take that. You don't get on here. I mean, I'm not going to speak ugly to a person in TSB, because that's the whole point of being in TSB is I kind of guarantee nobody's going to talk ugly to you, because I'll go chat with somebody that mistreats people in TSB. Unicorn will go chat with somebody. We used to wear it like a badge of honor. Like, I got hit off 15 times last night. I mean, when I would get into a party, that's why people were afraid of us, because I would have 1,000 people. So one person got into a party, we were constantly spamming invites. I mean, you can't hit us all offline. You're going to listen to what the hell we have to say. I mean, you're going to run out of the potential to boot. You just can't hit us all. You just can't do it. And eventually you're going to have to let me back online to hit somebody else offline, and I'm coming back in your party. And I'm going to tell you what I think about you. And, I mean, I don't care. I'm sitting here right now with a couple of business grade internet connections. There's more hotspots in this house than you should probably own. But nobody's going to keep me offline if I want to get online.
Right. You should probably own.
I'll fucking go to the Holiday Inn and rent a goddamn room and get on their Wi-Fi. I don't give a shit. If I want to get online, you're not going to stop me from getting online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gotten on a VPN. I've never hid who I am, because let's say that we're all sitting at a party and some quote unquote hacker jumps in that party and says, "Oh, your name is Trent Smith and you live at such and such address." You all know that I've already posted that everywhere. So are you afraid of this person? No.
Right.
I'm like, well, that's why when kids tweet doxes at me, I always retweet it. I mean, you think I give a shit? Hell, I know where I'm at. I know who I am.
I know where I live.
Yeah. The hell, if I try to, because as a leader, that's your job. If you make something a big deal, your members are going to think it's a big deal. If it's not a big deal for you to know my name, address, and cell phone number, then it's not a damn big deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's, I mean, honestly, not trying to brown nose, but I've kind of adopted that same mentality. I mean, coming into TSB, I kind of came in when things were a little rocky, when things were a little shaky. There was some bad blood out there, and things were going on. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm pretty outspoken. I'm not too scared to say what's on my mind. And when I join communities, I take them 100% serious. I mean, to me, these things are awesome. The way you get to come in here and you get to not only impact the community in a way, but impact the people in the community. That's always been one of my biggest things is making an impact on the people that are here and trying to make this the best community for the people, for the people that are here. But I mean, I ran into all that too. I mean, I would kind of run around with some security people and stuff like that and get myself in a little bit of trouble. And, I'd get hit off pretty often. And I got to the point where I was like, look, man, if you want to know where I live, just ask me. You're more than welcome to come to the house and we can talk about it. But it's crazy the way all that works, and how the links that people go through to try to ruin your good time. I've never really understood it. I'm like an old man with all this stuff anyway. I don't know how to do any of it. So
I don't either. People would send me stuff, and I'd be like, "Are they trying to hack me? Please, somebody tell me if that means they're trying to hack me." Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, you
need
can
my
always
information.
tell.
Just ask Terracode. He'll send
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah.
We got invited to a kick chat one time with some guys that were like, literally, I had been in that kick chat for like 2 minutes and a kid tweeted my social security number at me, And I'm like, And Unicorn's like, nobody ever doxes me, so I just posted his name and where he lived and everything. And I'm like, why don't y'all dox him? Like, why is it always just me?
It really is too. But I had Terracode
5 minutes
dox
later,
me, so.
Unicorn's wife calls me. He's like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like he
Okay.
said, he never got doxxed. I thought I was trying to help him get some street cred. I don't, you know.
I have a
Yeah.
super funny story along that lines that actually happened. Was it this past week? Memorial Day. Uh, Several people came from the gaming community here, and we were drinking and getting loud. And all of a sudden, I look outside, and there's cop cars sitting out there. I was like, "Are we about to get swatted? Is this how it happens?" Like, what? Like, do I need to go?
Oh my god. I can imagine Trixie right now, like glued to the window, waiting to see SWAT roll up, and like probably like looking at Azazel, like, what do we do? What do we do?
And
You know, she was
Azazel's like,
fogging the
"No."
damn window up with her nose pressed to it.
Because it was Tiller and then Blue from Azazel. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I could see somebody doing that with all these people here. Just,
Yeah, that is definitely something that is crazy. Because I mean, it happened to you, Terracode, and that's crazy to me. I heard about that. I was like, well, I mean, the only time that I heard about it, I was like, hell, I was sitting in a party with people, and I can't remember who rolled in. Somebody rolled in the party, and they're like, "Hey, did you hear what happened to Terracode?" And I was like, my first thought was like, "Well, shit, is he all right? Like, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, he got swatted." And I was oblivious to what that meant. I was just like, he got swatted. What the hell does swatted mean? Like, was he acting up or something? Like, did his mom come to his house? And, like, what are y'all talking about? They're like, no, dude, like, somebody called the cops on him, and said something about him. And the cops came and, like, were harassing him. And I'm like, that's a thing? Like, people do that? That's like a legit thing?
Yeah.
His drunk ass was playing Halo 3 one night. Or no, it was one day when he made me skip school. And yeah.
That was
Anyway,
the first time I ever got swatted.
yeah, he goes, "Hey, hold on a second. There's a bunch of police at my other house right now." Comes back. Someone just tried to swat me, but they had the wrong fucking address.
That's great.
Yeah, because I lived in the country, and my ex-wife and I owned quite a bit of land, and we had an older house that we had restored and shit, and then we had built a brand new house on another part of it. Well, when you live in the country, they didn't give us a new address. It was just they just kept delivering the mail to the same mailbox. So when these little kids that are on the internet, they don't understand that. So when I look up, I'm like, what the fuck is all that racket? I look up, and there's like 15 cops over at my other house. Well, I mean, I graduated from high school with the sheriff, and I just like put my controller down, grab my beer, and I walk over. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, Robert? And he's like, I guess somebody's barricaded in the bathroom with some hostages or some shit. I'm like, wow. I said, y'all need the keys? And he said, yeah, or I guess maybe they broke in or something, And then we're sitting there, and dispatchers relaying information, and they're like, yeah, it's Trent Smith. And Robert said, no, wait a goddamn minute. He's standing right beside us. And so, yeah, that was the first time I ever got swatted. But yeah, actually last summer we got swatted twice in one day.
Yeah. That was when I heard about it.
Yeah, that's when I found out what it meant. I didn't know what
That's
swatting
when-
meant either. I was like,
Yeah, because
what?
I was like, what the hell does that mean? And they told me, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I got the transcript of the phone calls, and yeah, they were saying that I had hostages, and I had poured gasoline all over myself and had nothing on but my underwear and a bunch of guns. And if anybody tried to come in the house, that now listen, I was really cool the first time, but Helios and Corey, Landry, my daughter, they thought I was going to get shot, because when the cops showed back up 12 hours later and they swatted me again. I went out the front door pretty hot, and that's what I said. How fucking stupid are you guys? Like, come on, 12 hours apart?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And you're out here. I mean, I literally walked out my front door, motherfuckers with riot shields, and I had shotguns and assault rifles pointed at me. They're calling my name over the PA, and I'm like, all of the fucking neighbors are watching. Like, you ignorant motherfuckers were here 12 hours ago. Is it the exact same type of phone call? And sure as shit, it was.
Wow. Yeah,
Good
that's an
lord.
error on their part. Somebody should have been like, "Hey,
Well,
hold up."
especially I've been swatted so many times. Whenever I move somewhere new, first thing I do is go to the police department. And tell them, hey, this, here are the police reports. These are the types of things that have happened. And like a month prior to me getting swatted, some kid had texted my phone and he had actually geolocated my exact location while I was at work that day. And he was sending me, he was tracking me. So and he said, welcome to the SWAT world. So I swung by my police department that day and showed them that. And
Real
then the
dipshit.
day before I got swatted, this kid's calling me, telling me that he's fixing to swat me. So I'm like, okay. I actually called the police department again. I'm like, yo, spoke to the same officer. I said, hey, another kid's calling my phone saying they're fixing to swat me. There's no way we'll send armed guard, cops over there. We'll come knock on your door and find out what. And the day that I walked out and they had all the fucking riot shields and shit out, the cop was like, well, we weren't sure if it was legit or not. That's why we didn't come in hot. I said, motherfuckers, you got guns pointed at me everywhere. What do you mean you didn't come in hot?
Yeah.
Like, what was
Broke out
next?
the
You gonna throw
arsenal.
flashbangs through my fucking window? Like, that's the
Yeah.
only thing you didn't do. I mean, you haven't shot anybody yet.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yes, I was pretty heated when I went out the door the second time. And
yeah.
you know, I didn't. Now listen, I'm not dumb. I didn't go out there jicking and throwing my hands around acting crazy. But I was definitely running my motherfucking mouth the whole way, the whole 50 foot out there. I was talking ugly to people.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't blame you. That's kind
yeah.
of that's scary.
Yeah. Well, and it's just ridiculous at the end of the day. I mean, that's crazy.
Well,
It's
what what
crazy
a,
that's what you go through in gaming sometimes.
what a lot of people don't know is that our old address, that the first address that we were just talking about, that they swatted years and years ago, someone swatted it the day before. They had my old. They just pulled up an old docs of me, and they swatted that address first. And there's a 70-year-old couple that I sold that house to
Oh.
10 years ago that they busted in on.
Oh
You know,
man.
and that's why the FBI has been like calling me nonstop. I mean, they've assured me they're going to get the guy who did it, and it's somebody hired somebody to do it because the kid that did it, and he's not smart enough to do it. But
Right.
like they literally kicked the door in on some 70-year-old people thinking it was me at my address. And so I know that that's someone that's way out of the loop of me because everybody knows what my new address is. I mean, fuck, if you've been in a party or a Discord, in any TSB Discord in the last year, you know where I live and where I've lived for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
It's just
but
Yeah.
yeah,
crazy that. Oh, sorry.
I'm supposed to be the monster, but no one in TSB or any of our circles that I allow to be around us have ever done anything like that. I wouldn't risk someone's life over some Xbox shit. Now, have I driven to someone's house before because of things that they said on the internet? Yes. Have I had altercations with people because of things? I mean, a kid drove to where my daughter worked, and so and he sent me a picture of it, and so I went to his house, and we had a chat about how you conduct yourself around people's kids, and yeah, I've done things like that, but I wouldn't risk somebody's fucking life over some stupid shit.
Yeah. No, that's just the ridiculous part of all of it. I mean, obviously, you're a very famous person when it comes to comes to stuff like that. But I mean, that's just dumb that people go to those extents to try to really break people down and get people in trouble. It's a game, man. That's what I tell people all the time. Everything we do here, it's gaming. It's having fun. It's supposed to be meeting people, and in the gaming world, confrontation happens, and it's just like anything else. You got the battles between the people who want to be the best. You got the battles between the people who want to be top dog. They want their name up there, and they want to be seen, and they'll do whatever it takes in their little small brain to make that happen. Whether it be you know just confrontational or swatting somebody or going out of their way to try to hurt somebody mentally. It's ridiculous.
You can you can
The way it's
always you can always tell how deep you got under someone's skin by the lengths they go to try to hurt you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if me talking to you in an Xbox Live party pushes you, I mean, there's kids call my mother who's 76 years old. Someone called in a suicide at her house about a year ago. Cops roll up at midnight. Like, that tells me what a nutless person you are. That you my words on Xbox Live affected you to that point that you try to hurt people in my real life, you know?
Yeah, and
And
that's crazy.
yeah,
It
You
is.
know,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's one thing to mess with, it's one thing to mess with me,
Hmm.
but to go after someone's family, to go after a family member or a kid, of any sort, that's just that right there. It's just low character, low morals. It's ridiculous that's what and a lot of people don't know that this is stuff that happens
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
gaming world. This is stuff that happens in the community world. A lot of people are oblivious to it, and I was one of those people really up until I joined TSB and kind of started seeing what was going on. And I've always been the type of guy, I stay in my lane. I got tunnel vision. I know what, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do a task. That's how, I do my thing, but the more and more I opened up to it and realized what was going on, the more and more I realized like people they're just ignorant. They're ignorant. I mean, really what it boils down to, I mean, it's just people think
Well,
it's funny, and it's not.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was I was in a discussion with a high-ranking leader of KSI the other day. I'm not going to say which one, but anyway, they were talking about something that happened in the past. They're like, "Well, TSB targeted my family," and I said, "When? Who show me an instance where anybody here has ever gone out after you outside of Xbox Live, you know?"
Right.
And
Yeah.
Callie spoke up, and Callie was real high ranking member of KSI for a long time. And he said something I never thought about. He said, "Name someone outside of Terracode whose family has been targeted as much as his family." And most of those people rocked gamer tags of clans that call me a bad guy right now. You
Yeah.
know?
That's how I usually judge who I want to hang out with, if they think you're a bad guy or not. Because if they think you're a
Yeah.
bad guy, they probably did something that I don't want to be around them for. That's how I kind of figure it out, and I'm like, okay, we'll just put that over
Right. Well, and like we have like newer members and stuff come in, and I brought a lot of them into parties and stuff with you, with you and Pinky and Callie and all them, especially back when I first came in, my thing was I always thought it was cool to be able to bring newer people in to meet the founder because a lot of the guys that I brought in, they were, a lot of them were guys from other communities, and I'd bring them in, and be like, hey, you want to meet the founder, and they're like, he actually plays. He gets on Xbox. Like, are you serious? He's not just like a Discord guy that just gets on Discord, says what's up every once in a while, then bails out. And I said, no, this guy's on. He's on Xbox probably more than me. He's always around and bringing him in, and I can remember, almost all of them. They'd be like, that's the coolest thing, being able to go in there and hang out with the founder and stuff. And then really my first encounter with Mr. Unicorn down there was quite entertaining. Because it was probably 2 months to me being in TSB, and I hadn't even met JT yet. Me and you, we've known each other since my XGN days. But I hadn't met Unicorn, and I remember I kind of got into it with a global mod. we got into a bit of an argument, and Galvanize came down and talked to me, and then JT. That was the first time I met him. He was like, hey man, I just you need to calm down. You need to relax. And I'm sitting here thinking like, who is this Unicorn JT guy? Like I was getting mad. I was like, who is this guy? Like I'm getting talked to security, and now this guy's coming down. Who's this guy? And I click on his tag and it says founder, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's who Unicorn is. And I
That's how you
remember,
summon me. Drama.
yeah,
Summon me
that's,
with some drama.
yeah. I was like, Cuddly came down and talked to me. She's like, now you can get away with talking a little shit to Terracode, but I highly advise against doing that to Unicorn. And I was like, well, why is that? And she was like, just don't do it. And then like I later found out why you don't yank the unicorn's tail because it can
Everyone
it
says
can
I'm
end up.
scary. Everyone says I'm scary. I don't understand it.
Listen, and I've said this a long time because I consider everyone in TSB family and friends, and I would rather go into a hostile party and have 15 people yelling at me, saying whatever they want to, than I have to discipline someone in TSB because it's like getting on to your damn kid. And the one thing about being in a gaming community or leading a gaming community is sometimes you have to make decisions that involve friends, and someone's not going to like it, but you try to be transparent and you try to make the best decision that and the right decision. And you have to think about TSB as a whole. You can't think about web ops or security or clan ops or whatever. You have to look at it as a whole, and you hope that your people are good enough friends and trust you enough that, hey, he may have disagreed with me, and but that's he didn't do it maliciously. I can handle someone getting mad at me for making a decision they disagree with, as long as they know I didn't do it maliciously or having pettiness behind it.
Oh yeah,
And I mean,
another huge thing is if something goes down and you disagree with it or don't know all the information, we will gladly show you all the information, give you every reason in which why we did that. We have we are very, very, very transparent. There's been times, what you've probably seen it a lot. A lot of people have probably seen it where I'll randomly pop in and remove someone. And I've had people come up and private message me, be like, why would you do that? And start getting all pissed off at me. And I'll just start dropping screenshots of all the evidence that we have as to why this person needed to leave. I'm not afraid to share with you why we do something. I mean, I'm not here to hide shit from you. I'm not here to, you know, sugarcoat and all that. I'm here to make sure that everyone can have a good time and feel safe where they're at. So if that means I have to be the asshole and kick someone out or chew someone's ass, I'm willing to do that and I have no problem doing that. But if you want to know why I did that, just ask and I'll gladly tell you why.
Right.
I mean, I have kicked out very, very few people since TSB started. And Unicorn honestly has not kicked out that many people. Like, we've tried not to be that community,
Right.
And people, I've had people tell me that was one of our biggest weaknesses, is that we didn't give up on people. And I don't view that as a weakness. Like,
No.
I've Unicorn and I, we've always said TSB is a place that a lot of broken people come to, and we all fit together and we make it work. And you know, look at people that are really special people, like Gork. What community would he be in right now, surrounded by people who liked him and care about him and look out for him, if it wasn't here?
Yeah.
We've never had a blacklist because of the fact that we never felt like we had to tell people who to be around or who not to be around, because if we remove someone, 9 times out of 10, if we show you why we removed them, you're not going to want to be around those people anyway,
Yeah.
And that's why we've always tried to be transparent about that. And another thing is, not having a blacklist keeps us honest, because if we're running the community that we think we are and we're doing the right things, I don't have to worry about who the hell you're gaming with.
Yeah.
Other community leaders might worry about who their people are hanging out with, because they see what we do and we're having fun and being transparent and we actually care about each other. They're the ones in trouble. I don't have to worry about that shit. Unicorn doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% true because, if I liked it here because if I asked why something happened, people would tell me, and I've never been in a situation like that before. If I said,
Yeah.
they said, oh, this person did that, I don't even need proof anymore. If somebody says, oh, you shouldn't hang around them, I'm like, cool, got it, won't do it. Like, I trust you.
Yeah.
I understand there's probably a reason. I don't need to know why.
Yeah, that's what I tell a lot of people too. I mean, being in it's been kind of like it's been a learning process for me. Being in the position that I'm in. And luckily I've got a great set of leadership underneath me and cuddly above me to kind of help me get to where they've really helped me get to where I'm at now. But the transparency that we have really throughout TSB is really one of my most it's one of the best things about the community. And one of the things that, like me and Trixie, I know on the podcast, we ask a lot of people, we've had a lot of, we've had a lot of officers on, we've had a lot of members on, so far. And I think the number one thing that most people talk about the most, they love the most about the community, is the family atmosphere that we bring, and it really is, that's one of the things that we try to preach the most, is that, it's gaming at the end of the day, but we're all people, and we want to get to know you. We want to, we want to make sure that you're okay, not just in the community, but outside of the community. I mean, we try our best to reach out and make sure that people are having fun here, and doing the things that they want to be doing here. Because a lot of people, who know TSB that aren't in it, that are kind of out of the circle, and they just kind of see us from the horizon. They don't realize that we have all these fun things in here. They don't realize that we have all these extra things for them to do, like the web ops, the events, the global, all the things that go into clan ops and all that. So, when we bring people in that have heard about TSB, the first thing they bring up is of course, everything they've heard from outside people that don't like us. The bad reputation. You guys are booters. You guys are hitters. Like I got into TSB. And I won't name the community that I came from, but when I was in that community before I came over here, the first thing I heard was, well, TSB is nothing but a bunch of booters. They're nothing but a bunch of hitters. You'll join them and they'll hit you offline when you're in their community and they'll do this to you. And I got into TSB and I was like, kind of looked around. I was like, these are just regular people playing games. Like, why y'all make it more than what it really is? It seems a little dramatic. So I mean, it's the family atmosphere though. That's definitely the biggest thing that people love. That's been our number one question. As far as like, what do you love about the community? And it's always the family atmosphere that it brings. The fact that everybody feels like it feels like you really care about people, and we try to. Sometimes it's hard to do it with everybody because we got so many people here, but we try to do it to as many people as we can. Make them feel welcome like family.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah, that's
exactly true. I've never felt safer in a community than I have here because I know if somebody messes with me, you're not messing with me, you're messing with like TSB. So come on.
Yeah.
yep.
Bring it.
I mean, and I think that goes back to our origins also because like the first 20 people that were in TSB, most of us have met each other in real life. I mean, I drove 15 hours and picked up Unicorn his first Thanksgiving in the army because he couldn't be with his family. And Bad Company and we drove 15 hours and picked his little ass up and hauled him to my house. So, and he stayed a week there. So he'd have Thanksgiving with family. And,
Uh,
I mean, he's been to my house numerous times. I know his kids, I know his wife. Hell, I've known him longer than his wife's known him, and I can't tell you how many people that I've met, J2H members, XDG. I mean, I've met a lot of people in real life, and we, that kind of that bond was because we started this group. I mean, there were a bunch of kids that I coached in Pee Wee football and Pee Wee baseball were in the original group. People that we knew in real life, and it kind of went from there. It was nothing for us to hang out. Shit, I was single, and Landry was 15 years old, and we just summertime say, "All right, we're going to go to Corpus and see Poon, or we're going to go to Killeen where Joey was stationed at Fort Hood. Just we'd drive 4 hours to go down there and go out to eat, and hang
yeah.
out and shit, with him and his wife and kids, and like we really, and I think that's kind of carried on, the tradition. I mean, like Trixie talking about all the people that hung out together over the weekend. Like we've always been a group of people who didn't just hang out with each other on the Xbox. Hell, we like to go hang out in real life.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing too. That coming in the community. I've got a guy that I've been friends with for the past 15 years, and we talked about this last episode. You know, I went MIA for about a year. I kind of left gaming behind. It was I had a lot of stuff going on. Getting out of high school, going straight into the oil field, working. I just didn't really have time for any of it. Got back on, and everybody was gone. All my friends, they'd either just been MIA and not online or whatever. And Wolfpack Reaper, I didn't even have him added on my friends list. He's my MG in DS right now. And out of the blue, one day I get a friend request from a guy. And in my mind, I didn't even think it. Didn't even dawn on me who it was. I just accepted it, and it was one of the original guys that I first ever played Xbox with, and got him into TSB, and he ended up coming down and meeting me, and we got to hang out and visit with each other. He stayed at my house. We went out and ate. We went and played VR games and stuff like that. And, it's kind of like I told him, I said, man, it's crazy to think that if you'd never got back online and joined TSB, this probably would have never happened. We probably would have never linked up like this, never got to meet each other. I mean, and you're seeing more movement too within TSB, like people meeting people going to, they're making genuine friends and they're wanting to go and meet people. And to me, that's something that's just, it's really amazing throughout the community. I mean, I've met more people, in TSB that have been friends for a long time, than I ever have, in gaming in general, so it does carry, I think, everybody, you get in here, you start playing with people, you make friends, you get comfortable, and then you're like, let's go have a beer, let's go hang out, come over for the weekend, whatever, man. So I mean, it's really cool that things like that work out.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. So my mind went blank. But
That tends to happen every
I
episode.
know it does. I had this great thing, and then I'm like, what was I going to say? But I think with that, we probably should go ahead and start wrapping up. We're at almost about that time. I could sit here
I
and
got
talk to y'all about this all night, though. But
I've got one more solid question that I do want to ask Unicorn and JT.
okay.
So kind of for the final question, and either one of y'all can answer this, and I think this is something that I've been asked to ask you guys as soon as they found out you guys are coming on. So, TSB's been around for a long time. What is in your mind? What does the future look like for TSB? What's the direction pointed towards as far as TSB goes?
An ARC mega server.
All right, let's calm down now with that one.
Sorry, I've been
Look,
waiting the whole episode to throw that in.
I'm just trying to retire before Terracode dies. So, I mean,
Listen,
One-
I told you you can put in your 20-year notice anytime you want to.
yeah, but it's the rediscussing my contract on that 20-year notice that's the problem.
Listen, every time you try to renegotiate, we add a decade to it. So
Yeah, I know.
let me know when you want to continue.
I honestly, my personal goal is that someday we get to the point where TSB is truly self-sufficient and has a good set of, like, a good large stock of leaders that can truly promote TSB as a whole over an individual and carry on the legacy without me and Terracode being here, and feel confident that things will keep going the way we, hoped they would go when we first started this.
Right. Yeah, that's badass.
I mean, you get up and you've been doing this for a long, long time. And you start thinking about legacy, and like, what is your mark on this? And the moves that we're making behind the scenes, probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see, like, we're truly the biggest problem that Unicorn and I talk about all the time is, and it's not a TSB issue, it's a clan issue, is retention. So many people. I mean, how many 100,000 people probably been in TSB? Just circulating. But we don't have 100,000 members. I mean, and there's a certain amount of people who just fall off. And don't get back online. They grow into other lives, and that's fine. But my biggest thing is retention. Like, I want people to feel like this is their forever clan. And even if you're not in TSB, if you're in Hydra, you're in Excess, or you're in this other thing that we're doing. I want you to be in a clan. I want you to experience the things that we have to offer, and I hate to see people walk away, and that's something I really, really try to focus on, and someday, hopefully this thing can carry on when Unicorn and I are gone. I mean, you try to put leaders in place, and you have to understand that I've always said the number one thing is consistency. Like, you have to show up every day, and you see the clans where the leaders don't show up every day, and those clans are struggling.